My name is Hall Martin. I'm with 10 Capital, and today we connect startup investors for funding. This is what we call the Investability Score event. We've scored every company that's come through here to show on a scale of 1 to 100 what they rank. Anything above 60 is good, anything above 70 is better, and anything above 80 is really, really good. So you can rest assured you're looking at some high quality deals today. With that, let's go around the room and have some of the investors introduce themselves. John, can you tell us about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. I'm John MacArthur, uh, former executive in the food industry. Currently do a little consulting and investing with a couple companies.
That's great. Thanks for that. Margaret Wong, can you tell us about yourself and your investment?
Yes, I'm also a former medtech executive and currently part of Keiretsu and investing not only focusing in medtech and health tech, but I'm also looking at other great deep tech opportunities.
Great. And Gilbert Ortiz, can you tell us about yourself and your work there?
Of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Gilbert Ortiz. I've got a background in commercialization and business development with product strategy across diagnostics and translational research. Currently working on doing consulting and also some investing.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you guys for coming in today. Appreciate your spending your time with us. We have four companies presenting today. Each will have 5 minutes to pitch and 5 minutes of Q&A. With that, let's go ahead and kick off with our first ones. At the very end, I'm going to ask each of the investors, who would you like to follow up with? It's just a verbal name of one, two, three, or four companies, and we'll make introductions with that afterwards. With that, let's go ahead and have Solaris start off with their pitch. If Randy could launch your slides. Solaris Endovascular got an 86 on the fundability score. It's a drug-eluting vascular stent platform improving dialysis access, patency, and outcomes. With that, Randy, go ahead and kick off when ready.
Sure thing, Hall. Let me get the deck up here.
Okay. Which one is here?
There we go.
And we see it now.
Perfect. All right. Just get this study. Okay. So look, Solaris is a endovascular medical device company. I have a platform technology. I've got two technologies that are in the advanced stage, one commercial and one is a breakthrough designation that is in phase 2. We focus on treating arteries and veins for dialysis patients. They tie an artery and vein together, they have their dialysis, and that becomes very problematic as they get lesions, stenosis, blockages. It all results in poor flow and needs to be repaired. Peripheral artery disease is the same disease process that's in the heart, the atherosclerotic disease. It happens in the legs and particularly below the knee. It becomes very problematic as well. We have two programs on our platform that are advanced stage. Program number one is Solaris SX. It's a self-expanding covered stent. This is going to be put in the arteries and veins of the peripheral arteries and veins, the arms and legs, anything but the heart and the brain. It is approved in 45 countries. It is generating annual recurring revenue of about $5 million. The second program is Solaris DE, drug-eluting. It takes the first program and it adds a biologic to it, a drug just on the metal edges to fight what's called edge restenosis. And I'm going to show you that. This is breakthrough technology. We have the phase 2 data. It's fantastic. And it is going through the process of being registered in the US, the largest market in the world. So here's what edge restenosis is. What you're looking at is that metal mesh is the stent. It's covered with PTFE. And so it does not typically get a stenosis in the body of the stent. That black tube in the middle is contrast showing blood flow. Where it does get a stenosis for ourselves and our three competitors from Gore, Bard, and Merit is on the edges, called edge restenosis. And that's what you're looking at with that white milky component. To fight edge restenosis, which happens about 1 out of 4 times with covered stents in dialysis patients, we put a drug on the edges and we have prevented edge restenosis. So for dialysis patients, when they have a problem fixed with a repair, and they repair with balloon angioplasty, also called PTA, at 6 months, half of those patients, that repair didn't last. It was not durable. With covered stents without a drug, ours and GORs and BARDs and MERITs, you do get a better response. You get about 75% success. But now with the drug on it, we have 95% success. And we are finished enrollment for that patient population. The picture on the right shows that there's no scar tissue buildup. There's no neointimal hypoplasia. This is at 6 months. We also have the same picture at 12 months. So the repair is holding and very durable. It's a large market, about $1.5 billion, growing to $3 billion. So this company's been set up for an exit. We started with the exit in mind and worked backwards. All these companies are in the endovascular space, which means they call on interventional radiologists and vascular surgeons who do these procedures. This is a vascular procedure. It's not a dialysis procedure. And they don't have a covered stent. The three companies that do, GOR, BARD, and MERIT, are not acquisition targets. And those three companies don't have a drug-eluting. So we're in some advanced conversations with multiple of these strategics. The bridge round is a $5 million convertible note. It's very specifically designed to hit some very important strategic milestones, of which we have done. We will receive breakthrough designation from the FDA. We're on a path to hiring our full-time employees using the capital from the convertible note. Our IDE, which allows you to do a clinical study for a pivotal study for approval. Part 1 has already been submitted to the FDA, and Part 2 will go in at the beginning of 2027. We'll enroll patients and complete enrollment in 28, and in 2029 have the data. So what this represents is 1 PMA, 1 pivotal study, and then an exit. That will be a $5 million convert, $25 million Series A, and then the projected return is 10 to 12x with a $550 to $600 million acquisition. I've done many startups. I worked for J&J for 13 years, Boston Scientific, IBM, but I've also had Cardiva Medical, which was acquired by Haemonetics for $500 million. Carmel Therapeutics, we went from a science project at Carnegie Mellon to a listing on the NASDAQ for $150 million. And Dr. Costa is a interventional cardiologist. He's also CEO of SciTech Medical, and he's our chief medical and scientific officer. And the round that we have now is $5 million. We are going to oversubscribe. We're going to have our final close on July 1st. It's a $50 million cap with 8% interest and at least a 25% discount, if not greater. Thank you.
Great job, Randy. For the investors, since we only have 5 minutes, each investor gets 1 question, and we have 5 investors in the room. I'll just go through the list to see who wants to ask a question. Gilbert, did you have a question?
Yeah. First of all, great presentation, very interesting. What part of adoption has proven harder than originally expected for you guys?
Part of adoption?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the product being sold overseas, the Solaris SX, we're competing against some pretty big companies with big brands. We're using independent distributors, so we don't have the marketing muscle behind that product. We do manage to be #1 market share in Turkey and in Brazil. We're strategically going to support the sales OUS. The big play here is the drug-eluting. It's the US, it's that product advancing it. Capital I'm raising is focused on delivering that technology through the regulatory timeline. As we hit milestones of enrollment, clinical data, that's when the acquisition window opens.
Great, thanks. Margaret, what's your question?
Countries, you approve in 45 countries right now with SX. Can you kind of tell us like which countries you have penetrated?
Yeah, so like I said, Turkey and Brazil are our #1 market share. We're growing in Asia Pacific with recent sales in Hong Kong and Taiwan. We do have sales in 5 or 6 European countries, Italy and Spain. It's a bit fragmented, to be honest with you, and that's the challenge with independent distributors. And that's why we're not going to try to be the heroes in Europe. The focus is just continuing to deliver steady growth with SX, but use the capital for the drug-eluting.
I see. So you have CE mark and all of the regulatory registration with the other countries. I assume that.
Not only do we have CE mark, we have MDR CE mark, which is one of the few companies in the world.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. And Kevin Prisbaki, thanks for joining us. Did you have a question?
No, I did not. Randy and I had a chance to talk. I didn't realize it'd be overlap, but talked back in January at your event. So I don't have any
Okay,
follow-up questions after that.
very good. Kashyap, Campella, thank you for joining us. Did you have a question? Kashyap? Let's go to the next one. John MacArthur, what question did you have?
So I'm currently an investor in Solaris, but I would just like to say that it's my second investment with Randy. And, a lot of times you're investing in a product, but you're also investing in the people. And, I don't know if there's anyone better at this kind of thing than Randy. So um, just highly recommend his work and his results.
Great. Thanks for that, John. Appreciate that. Great, good questions, guys. Let's go to our next presenter. Thanks, Randy, for a great pitch. Let's go next presenter. We have Paul Gemini of Angiex. Paul, if you want to launch your slides and kick off when ready. Angiex got an 85 on the investability score. It's a novel cancer therapy targeting tumor vasculature using nuclear-delivered antibody drug conjugates. With that, Paul, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Hal. So, Angix's vision is that no one should die of cancer, but it's also our mission, and we think we've achieved it. So, our founders discovered a fundamental biology that underlies both invasion and metastasis and angiogenesis, and those are the two ways that cancer can kill you. And we can basically kill any cell that is undertaking one of those two functions. And in adults, the only place where those are happening is in the tumor. So we have a very selective way of attacking the key processes underlying cancer. So this is what our drug looks like, antibody drug conjugate. The antibody finds the tumor and the key cells, and they deliver this cytotoxic payload. And so this is what happens when we attack the tumor blood vessels. So you can see under treatment, the blood supply to the tumor disappears. There's no blood fleeing the tumor, and you get a mass necrosis in the tumor. And then, because we can kill any tumor cell that is capable of invasion and metastasis, and there's some of those in every cancer patient, they're the ones that lead to the patients dying. Uh, we can always deliver a measure of tumor cell killing in every patient, and the level of our tumor cell killing is comparable to the best other antibody drug conjugate therapies in their best indications. And so, just to illustrate with a few pictures what our drug does, this is a dose that's too low. It's about half the optimal dose, but it illustrates the vascular mechanism. So we are able to get rid of the tumor vasculature at lower doses than it takes to kill the tumor vessels because it's an IV infused drug and it sees the vessel walls right away, but you have to go to higher doses to reach the tumor cells. So what happens is when we destroy the tumor blood vessels, we completely eliminate all blood supply to the original tumor volume, and it goes completely dark. So this is 6 weeks later after one dose on PET imaging, and you can see there's no glucose uptake within the original tumor volume. But what happens if we don't kill the tumor cells, then the tumor cells invade into adjacent normal, and so you get this surviving tumor shell. But when we go to higher doses, that shell is not created, and what you see is a necrotic fibrosis where the tumor was, but there's no enlargement of the tumor like we saw at lower doses. And so we've completed the first pass through our dose escalation, and we've identified a maximum tolerated dose. And it looks like we can pretty much eliminate at least 90% of the tumor cells in one dose in patients who don't have hypertension. And in patients who do have hypertension, we're limited a little lower. We can kill about half the tumor cells with each dose. So we're proceeding, but we're already seeing evidence of a long-term survival benefit. Here's a metastatic pancreatic cancer patient who's still alive 19 months after starting dosing. Here's all the patients that were dosed above 6 milligram per kilogram. And we've had one death, uh, but most of the patients are in follow-up and are in fine health. Median survival currently at 8 months and rising 1 month per month. And when they joined the trial, they had a median survival expectancy of about 4 months. And so we've got a great team and great opportunity for people to join us at a low valuation. So we have an open convertible note with a $100 million cap, 20% discount, 10% interest rate. And you can get into equity via a no fee, no carry SPV, and which has previously invested $10 million into the company. And that gives a better valuation, but than the cap. But if a fixed, it's equivalent to investing in common shares. And realistic potential for 10x in a year, 100x in 3 years, which is when we project reaching approval. And potentially much larger than that as we prove that we can treat all solid cancers successfully. So it's really all about bringing in investors right now and moving the drug to approval quicker. I think, we're already demonstrating the PFS and survival benefits that are needed for approval. And it's working in all tumors of all of our patients. So very high potential drug. And we just need money to move it along. I hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Great, Paul. Great presentation. Jeremy, we each get one question. What's your question?
No, very outstanding, exciting what you're up to. Unfortunately, OSF, we don't touch therapeutics, but I'll be happy to connect with you. I just checked, you and I are connected on LinkedIn. So if we want to have a separate call sometime, we can think through maybe a wish list of warm contacts I could help you with at the very least.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you, Jeremy.
Sounds great. We'll make introductions afterwards there. With that, let's go to John. John, what's your question?
Yeah, it looks amazing technology. Really, at this point, I don't have any questions.
Okay, thanks for that. Margaret, what's your question?
Yes, Paul, I like to find out for your treatment, how does that compare in terms of, complication, side effect, and adverse effect versus the current treatment?
Yeah, so we have, because we're so tumor specific, we pretty much have very few adverse effects for most patients. So like this example, the patient had, like 3 days of mild nausea and constipation, which is what we see in patients who have liver tumors. And when the liver tumors die, a lot of stuff goes out through the digestive tract. But many other patients have, this patient, the only adverse event reported was pain at the site of the tumor, which you can understand she had a very large tumor and we killed it. A lot of patients have no observed adverse effects. This metastatic pancreatic cancer patient, no reported adverse effects through 7 cycles, then only grade 1. So we've had 4 grade 3, those are severe adverse events in the trial, and those were all at overdoses. And so we're now restricting ourselves to doses where we haven't seen any severe adverse effects. And so, I think, because this biology is only active in tumors, we can, when we're at the right doses, dose with minimal off-tumor effects. So generally speaking, all the adverse effects we see are due to on-tumor activity, like the breast pain or the nausea and constipation from necrosing liver tumors.
I see, Paul. The other
Right.
question I have, a real quick one is, if you go back to the slide that you said the survival rate, the average is
Yeah.
8 months or 8.
Median 8 months.
So
Yeah.
that means they cannot survive past that.
No. That means we only dosed them. We dosed the median patient 8 months ago, and so we only know that they're still alive today, 8 months after
Got it.
starting our drug. We hope they're going to live another 20 years, and we'll end up with median survival of 20 years, but we don't know. So that's why I have the greater
Sure.
sign, because they're still alive.
Yeah, do you have plans? Do you have plans to do a longer monitoring, or is
Oh,
this?
yeah, of course. Yeah. So we'll continue the trial. So we're still optimizing dosing and clinical management, and we're engaging with the FDA to talk about endpoints and our path to approval. We'll figure everything out by the end of this year, and we'll start a pivotal trial in the first half of 2027 that will lead us to BLA submission in 2028. So there's, we basically have to optimize the treatment and optimize how we measure and what we're measuring to make sure that, we're measuring what the FDA wants to know in order to evaluate our drug. And when we have the design of the trial worked out, then we can run the registrational trial that proves the progression-free survival and overall survival benefit to the satisfaction of the FDA.
Yeah,
Great.
great. Thank you.
Great. Let's go to Gilbert. What's your question?
Oh, Paul, nice presentation. Thank you for that. What's the current dosing look like? Is it, 2, 3 rounds? What are the, the standard patients going through right now?
Yeah, so we've adopted a once every 6 weeks dosing interval. So it's an IV infusion over about 30 minutes. And at the optimal doses, we'll be clarifying this in the trial, but it looks like we're killing approximately 90% of the tumor cells per dose. So complete response in terms of, you can't see clear evidence of surviving tumor cells on imaging after a couple of doses, probably after about 2 doses in the non-hypertensives and maybe 5 to 7 doses in the hypertensives. And once you can't tell if they still have a tumor, then you'll pause dosing and monitor them. And then when the cancer comes back, restart treatment. So we still have to figure out exactly, the best way to manage, through a complete response. So we'll need more time to figure those things out.
Okay, great. And Kevin, what's your question?
Yeah, I'd like to just understand your fundraising history to date, how much money you've raised, and I believe you did a big round last year too. Can you tell me what the terms on that round were and how much you raised?
Yeah. So we've raised $90 million in the life of the company. The company is over 10 years old. That's probably a lot if you're not familiar with therapeutics and especially antibody drug conjugates, but ADCs are an expensive drug modality. And we had a manufacturing hiccup in COVID, which set the company back. And as a result, in late 2023, we did a down round. So as a result, we did a $16 million financing last year, and that had a post-money valuation of $50 million. And the valuation of the SPV is similar to that you'd be getting if you enter in the SPV. So the convertible note, the cap is set near the total amount of money raised in the life of the company. That's the story.
Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks for that. We're out of time, guys. Appreciate it. Let's go to our final presenter. We have with us Spencer Madsen of AccuBreath. AccuBreath got an 86 on the investability score. It's a portable ventilator technology, improving emergency respiratory care through automated ventilation. Go ahead and kick off when you're ready, Spencer.
Hi, everybody. Can everyone hear me? See my screens?
Yes, we can. You're good to go.
Great. My name is Spencer Madsen. I'm the CEO and a co-founder of AccuBreath. We're a medical device startup working to revolutionize emergency ventilation. And so what's the issue that we're facing here? When a first responder arrives on scene and they need to help a patient breathe or resuscitate them, they reach into their bag and they pull out a life-saving technology that's over 70 years old. It predates the FDA, doesn't meet today's standard of health or heart care, and has quite a few flaws that impact the way we want to do things in today and it doesn't have today's technology that we can provide to make things better. The biggest issue is that definitely to do it correctly, and most cases are not done correctly, as you can see. One person is to hold the mask on the patient's face, and the other person is to focus on squeezing the bag, both the correct time and at the correct pressure. Now, the problem with that is that it's unreliable. There's no feedback, there's no safety thresholds, and so it's not always done correctly, and it can be a problem. And most times, first responders will, by protocol, bag a patient really fast and then get rid of the bag and then put in some other device, a subglottal device to secure the airway because it's so difficult with these manual resuscitators. People do get injured, and unfortunately, people do die from acute lung injury, which can happen with these devices. So why can we solve this problem now, since this device has been around for so long? It's a cheap, disposable, lots of medical waste, and it's used almost 100 million times a year across the globe. What can we do now? Why we can do this is because technology today in both sensors, blowers, and battery power have made it so we can provide an ultra small portable ventilator that can do all of these same features with safety thresholds and smart algorithms constantly measuring the patient's breath. Market shift, EMT shortages, and yet personnel and the issues of cardiac arrest and other things with respiratory assistance are increasing. So there's a demand. And then two, scrutiny and rising demands for patient safety, patient outcomes. And now even the organization that dictates how these bags are supposed to be done are starting to recommend mechanical ventilation over manual ventilation. So we were at the forefront of this. So how does AccuBreath work? Pretty simple, to be honestly. It's an ICU ventilator that we have essentially created to be small and portable. We are capable of using it on the mouth or on the face, off the face. It provides pressure feedback and it provides safety thresholds. So the user will dictate when the breath goes, and the device pretty much does the rest from there. It's low cost, and we are taking this raise. You can see these images to go from our current prototype, which functions and works, to a more ruggedized, improved form function and intuitive control device for the first responders. So that's what we're raising money for. The market for this is surprisingly large for this commodity device, $3.5 billion across the globe. The US is about 50% of that use. And this is just the manual resuscitators, these bags. That's this market only. There are other markets as well. AccuBreath does more than just resuscitate, though. We have additional functionalities. It's our secret sauce is that, yes, we do rescue, but then we do BiPAP and transport. We do CPAP and monitoring. And so all of a sudden we become a platform device that reduces other disposables, reduces other steps in the care, and provides the health from the patient from resuscitation clear to the point where they enter the hospital. Can be used the whole term of the patient, increasing a return for the first responders and increasing productivity since it's one device throughout the lifetime of that care. How do we make money? The device is a razor blade model. For those that shave, you get it. Oftentimes you get a razor blade, the handle for very cheap or even free, and then you get locked into buying these masks for us or the blades for the razor blade. Our situation is the same, and because of that, we have a mixed margin from the unit and a contract of masks that are used over time. We can go into more details with that, and that provides a lot of flexibility for our sales strategy and go to market. Competition-wise, we have the bags. We want to replace them. There are other devices that solely provide a safety feature and the ability to better work with the bags. These are also disposables. There are devices that just blow air and oxygenate a patient. We do the same thing for a lower cost. And then there's high-end transport ventilators. We also perform the most of these features at 1/4 the cost, and we're more portable and more effective. Team and advisory committee, just quickly point out Dr. Fogarty, our CTO and co-founder. He and Dr. Joseph Orr invented this in an anesthesiology biology lab at the University of Utah. So from the very beginning, they've been working with experts in anesthesiology and ventilation from the very beginning. So what are we doing? We got patents. We'll go over that later. What are we raising? $750,000 on a convertible note. And that will get us to where we need to be to actually be on the market. This will get us through the FDA, and then the tranche 2 will come in upon launch and getting us to where we need to go. We have a great opportunity here, a lot of momentum behind us. And what we would like to see are people that can see the big picture. This is not just about EMT ventilation. This is opportunities for the far future to have respiratory assist devices just about everywhere because we could use them. Thank you.
Great presentation, Spencer. Gilbert, what's your question?
Hey, Spencer, thank you for that. I really enjoyed the presentation. So are you envisioning this as starting off in, like you mentioned, taking over from the ventilation bag and then expanding into other markets, or are you trying to go all the markets at the same time?
Definitely the lowest hanging fruit is EMS. And so we are definitely pursuing EMS first. The EMS market is essentially twofold. It's first responders, where these bag valves are used, daily on multiple calls, and then aviation. So airplanes by the FAA have to have a bag valve mask. And there's a medical emergency in the air every 20 minutes across the globe. The majority of those are respiratory distress and cardiac arrest, which our device would be useful for that. So those are the two EMS, same device, different packaging, different verticals, but same technology. And then further verticals would come with slightly different enclosures and design, but the internals would be the same.
Great. And Kevin, what's your question?
Where are you manufacturing these, or where will you manufacture the product?
So we're currently building all prototypes in-house, since we don't have a finalized design yet, and that's part of what this raise is for. To show you, go back to that one slide where I have our current prototype at the top versus the next stage. We are working with a specialized design firm right now to go from A to B, and through the whole design for manufacturing process. We will have to manufacture, we don't have to, but we would like to manufacture in the US. We have contracts. We have also the agreement we did with $2 million of the National Science Foundation to make this an American-made product. So we have that as well.
Great. And Jeremy, what's your question?
It's actually quite interesting because I swear I just had a dream about something like this a couple of days ago. So very interesting. And yeah, definitely I'd like to chat more at some point. Right now, the amounts you're raising are not, our minimum check size is like 2 million. So we may be a bit of a mismatch there, but you never know. Hopefully, maybe you need more money to scale up commercialization or what have you.
I appreciate that. We actually, with this raise going from tranche 1 to tranche 2, the idea of that is to ladder our valuation, not come in too high.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
But we'd love to talk. We definitely want to get this to market, and sounds like you have some fantastic connections. There's an application here in the hospital as well. So
great. And with that, let's go to John. What's your question, John?
Yeah, hi. A great presentation. Just have two quick questions. So what is the responder's responsibility with this device? Is it just to turn it on and apply pressure?
great question. So just like the bag, they do have to squeeze it, or for resuscitation, they will have to push a delivery button or a trigger to deliver a breath. So that's user generated. That keeps us under a very high threshold with the FDA. That the device itself isn't self-looping for the control of resuscitation. We can self-loop for BiPAP and self-loop for CPAP, but when it comes to triggering breath for resuscitation, it needs to be user-generated.
Okay. And then my second question is, what are your longer-term plans for the company?
Did you say clients or plans?
What are your plans long-term for the company?
Great question. So with terms of AccuBreath, we are definitely looking at strategic acquisition merger. Definitely think that's the most likely situation. These hypothesized numbers are based on 3 years of sales, 16,000 units. It's about 2% of the market at 2 million disposables. It gives us an EBITDA about 76, and current hardware tech like us is selling for 5 to 7x on PitchBook. However, we think these are quite conservative because these do not take in any other verticals other than like EMS, first responders, with these other areas of aviation and hospitals, and even a commercial application of being a respiratory assist device next to every AED in the country. you have a lot more upside potential. In terms of the way we get there, the channels go through distributors, and we've already been speaking with some. We've got an individual that runs a company that is in 13 states across the Western United States, already into all the EMS areas. So working with someone like that, instead of going from 1,000 sales, units per year, or, per 6 months, we could do 10,000, 15,000, we could really expand large.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
And Margaret, what's your question?
I just want to ask, what is your FDA timeline? Is it going to be this year or next year? And whether or
That's
not you already have like the quality system in place?
Great question. So we do have a quality control system in place, and our FDA documentation is all completed up to the point where we are right now, which is phase 3 in our quality, our QMS. However, for us to get to FDA testing, we have to finish the design, which is part of this raise. That is looking at about a 12-month process while we'll do the documentation at the same time. So the goal is to submit to the FDA in 12 months. FDA process should be somewhere around 6 months, give or take. The feedback with the FDA and what we have to go for. We have a clear predicate. It's not a de novo, and we're not pursuing an IDE. So the company we're working with, Peak Regulatory, they have already gotten FDA or ventilators approved through the FDA in the past. We're following the same framework. The FDA does have a few ups and downs recently with the administration and things, but we're hopeful that the 6-month timeline will be the situation for us.
It seems to me very long. I mean, you're going to submit to FDA in Q3. Am I looking at this correctly?
So that would be
Q3 of next year.
Yeah. So when I give you a 12-month timeline, that's the form, fit, and function, the design for manufacture, first units for testing to go through those tests, and then the FDA submission. So we can move faster with more funds. At this time, we've been very frugal with the money we do have, and this raise is the reason why we can get to where we can. 750 now would probably accelerate the timeline. $1.5 million would probably make it even faster.
Yeah, and for 510(k), I would highly recommend a speedier process, because I think Q3 2027 is kind of a bit longer than I thought. And also you're getting clearance, not approval, right? Q3 of 2028. It's also kind of long.
This calendar, hold on. 23.
Yeah, I'm not really sure I understand. You're doing a PMA or clearance? Sounds like a 510(k).
It is a 510(k) class 2. These dates are incorrect. Thank you for catching that. So the timeline I would give you, right, would be submission of 2027. We'd be talking 6 months later.
2027, right?
Yep,
Not 2028.
Yep, you're correct. So my apologies on that slide.
Great.
If you need some, guidance or help, I'm in this area for quite a bit, length of time. Feel free to reach out to me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I will.
Well, thank you for that. With that, I'd like to thank our presenters for great presentations. I'd like to thank the investors for great questions. And at this point, I'd like to ask each investor, who would you like to follow up with? John, who on this list would you like to learn more about?
Probably the AccuBreath would be my number one request.
Okay. Margaret, who would you like to learn more about? I guess you already said AccuBreath, but anybody else?
Yes, AccuBreath is one. I also very interested in learning more about Angiex.
Okay. Great. We'll make introductions there. With that, let's go to Gilbert. Gilbert, who would you like to learn more about?
AccuBreath and Noleus.
All right. Very good. Kevin, how about yourself? Who would you like to learn more about?
Yes, I'd probably say Angiex, though adding that they're all in a very, especially Angiex, very deep biotech area, and I would need some help on that. I don't can't sufficiently due diligence this technology because I'm not a medical person.
Sure, we can help you find that. And Jeremy, who would you like to learn more about?
AccuBreath and Noleus.
Okay.
But then Paul and I also are in a connect, I think, just so I can help him out.
Great. I'll make that introduction to those three, and we'll go from that. With that, did anybody have any questions for me before we wrap up?
Yes. Well, any of these companies already have like due diligence from other groups?
I believe most of these people do have due diligence. So would you, yeah, if I can make an introduction to them and they can provide the diligence or the connection to the diligence. We do provide diligence reports ourselves for many of these groups, and so you can get that as well. So I think that's available.
Yeah, sure. Great. I would love to see, the DD report.
Okay, we'll send you the DD reports on these, and we'll follow up next steps with you as well. So with that, I think we're at the end of our time, guys. I want to thank you for joining us today, and hope to see you back again for another presentation. And with that, we'll go ahead and close it for now. Have a good one.
Thank you, Hall.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.